Hey guys, welcome back to the Honda Resource. So me and Cody over here today, and we're working on this EBP. It's actually an RD2. It's not an RD1. It's front wheel drive. So if you didn't know, the RD1 is all wheel drive. The RD2 is front wheel drive. Basically the same thing. But we're working on an issue that's pretty common with these, and that's the driver door wiring. Now you can reach out to a guy named Mitch Minton. I'll put his link in the description. He makes these replacement door harnesses. However, I don't use that. I just put them all together, and I'm going to show you what I do. Okay, so common issues that you'll have if your door wiring is bad will be like driver window won't work, or the passenger window won't work. Power locks don't work. Speakers don't work. It could be a multitude of things that don't work due to this driver side door harness. On this one, our driver window wasn't working for sure. I'm not sure if anything else was failing, but I'm sure it was due to the number of pins that we have broken. So we've got our door panel off here, and what I was doing here, it appears that this glass has been knocked out at some time. They just had the window just sitting in here, and I tried to roll the window down, with my switch here, but it wouldn't roll down to be able to attach the window to the regulator. And so typically I test the window motor here, so I just jump 2 wires in here with my battery, and it will make the window roll down or up if it's a motor, or if it's not a motor problem. If it's a bad motor, it won't move, right? But the window did go down. I was able to attach the window to the regulator motor and roll it up just using a battery, like the Milwaukee battery that I have, and hooking it to the terminals in here. So that told me that I had other issues. So that's why I've got my door panel off. I will need the door panel off to do this the way I do it. So what we'll have to do is disconnect most of these wires, like the little pins here. This one right here that just pushes through, we'll actually have to reach around, and it's got 2 little tabs on it. Let's see if I can get it in real quick. All right, so kind of got it. Yeah, there it goes. So it's just got 2 little tabs. Just push those in on the back side. I just reached through here and got it. So, and then you can see that one there, how it has the 2 little tabs. I just push those in. Get to where you can push that in. Just trying to get some slack in our door harness, because we need to be able to pull it through over here. Well, may not be able to pull it through just yet, but let's look.
EGR valve is nasty.
Huh?
EGR valve is nasty.
That's not an EGR. This don't have EGR.
You're right. What is it?
PCV.
PCV, yeah.
All right, so our connector is in here. Cody took the fender off. What all did it take to take this fender off?
3 10mm
All right.
top. There's 2, one right here, one on the side of the headlight, and then all the clips in the fender liner, and then there's a Torx bit right here in the middle.
Do you remember what size that was?
No, but I can look. It is a T25.
All right, so real quick, I was just putting this fender back on. Cody had the wrong Torx on there. It's actually a T27, not a T25. T25 fits in there too loose. Use a T27. And then what size were the bolts?
The bolts are 10mm.
Okay, 10mm. And then
also some screws.
They had a couple of bolts up here, one right here and there, and then you had to pry this down to get that one that was right here. And then, so once we got the fender out of the way, that allowed us to get to this clip. So the clip has a little leather boot on it, but it's got a little spot right here at the top. If you push it with your thumb or a screwdriver or something like that, you can push it down. You can kind of see it's right here. It's just a little clip. Pull it out, and then you see how this rubber grommet has these little green things. Just kind of pull back at it, and it'll come off of there. But when you pull this boot back, it's kind of hard to do this with one hand. if you pull his boot back, you see all those wires that are loose? That's where they've broken off the pins in the connector. So you can see the pins down there. Now Mitch, like I said, Mitch Minton makes a replacement pigtail. Basically just cut your wires here and then splice them or solder them onto his little pigtail, plug it back in, and you're ready to go. But the way I do it is I just go ahead and there's the clip here at the bottom, push that up from down here, push it back into the door. All right. And then we gotta fish that back out of here. I have to take these 10mm bolts out. Hey, let me see your 10 real quick. All right, so I took that 10 out that holds the window rail there. But what I'm gonna do is take all this stuff off, take a razor blade or whatever, cut this tape off. I'm gonna get this connector all the way to where I can get these wires disconnected right off the back of this gray connector. So let me do that real quick. All right, and you guys may think I'm nuts, but I'm about to cut all these wires off the back of this connector. This may seem overwhelming to a lot of people, but all these wires are individually colored. You may have some that are just yellow, but they have a different color stripe on them. So like you see that one has a red stripe. Like this one has no stripe, and then this one looks like it also has no stripe, but it's bigger wire, so they're not like, I don't know, they're not like the same. You have some that are bigger, some that are smaller, so, and they match perfectly to the ones that are on the other side of the harness. So I'm just gonna hack all these off with just a pair of pliers. Okay, so after I cut the connector off, I shoved all the wires back through right here. So now what I'm gonna do is do the same thing here and then solder all these wires to those wires according to the color. Seems a little daunting, and it is quite a few wires, but you're gonna be doing the same amount of splicing as if you replace just this connector. So don't let it overwhelm you. All these wires do match in color, or if they are the same color, they're different size. So let's get to it. Okay, so I got the connector cut off of that. And obviously these wires still coming through there. The connector. The only thing about doing it this way is it won't have a weather tight seal here. You could take some silicone or something once you get it done and silicone it up if you want to or something. I don't know, I hadn't really had any issue with water coming in. I mean, and truthfully, the door isn't watertight anyway, because water can run down this, and it has drainage holes in the bottom of the door down here. You can't see them because of the glass that's down there right now, but there's drainage holes down there, so if water does come in, it's going to drain right out. So I'm not stressed about it. I'm going to solder these and put heat shrink on them. First I'm going to use some brake cleaner, a towel, and just wipe these down because it has like that terminal grease on it, electrical grease, and it's just nasty. I don't like it all over my hands. Okay, so I got me a stool set up here. I got me 21 pieces of shrink tube because it's 21 wires. I believe that's what it was. It may have been 23. I don't remember. 21, 23 something. It's a lot of wires. But like I say, you're gonna have to make that many connections even if you just replace the pigtail. I got me some electrical solder, my soldering iron. So now I just gotta get my wire strippers, strip these back individually, and solder them individually with the heat shrink on by color code.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. caught up in a daydream. I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things. What could go wrong, what fame brings, but success is a finicky thing. And if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down.
Okay, so now I've got all those soldered together, heat shrink. There are a couple that are the same color like I mentioned before. Like I think there's a couple that are the yellow with the red tracer, like right here. But there's, like I said, one's thicker than the other, so you can kind of gauge off that. See, I think like that's one of them, and then the other is, let's see, it's right there. So this one's significantly thinner than this one, and it may not be portrayed on camera that well, but I mean, hopefully you can see that the difference in the size. So just put the thick ones together, put the thin ones together. Other than that, and also on, there's a blue that's solid blue, and they're both thin, but the only difference is it has silver dots. So one of them has 2 silver dots, the other has 1 silver dot. So I think like maybe this was the other one. You see how it just has 1 silver dot? I don't know if you can see that. 1 silver dot as opposed to 2 silver dots. So just make sure that you got all those, so the correct orientation, and you're good to go and pull this boot back down. All right, so now we've got all these soldered together. You could zip tie them, tape them, whatever you want to do. I usually just pull this boot back down and just kind of boop like that, and then go back on the inside and connect all the little plastic connectors where they go. Let's see. That one there. Let's see. This one here. Good. There's one right up in here that I didn't show you guys earlier, but it's kind of a pain to get out. You see it right there. And it connects to that bracket up in there, so you can't really see it too well, but you see there where all the wires come through. You could loom it or whatever, like some split loom, just to keep them from chafing. You know, if you think they're going to chafe, I may put some split loom on it just right there where it comes through, just to make sure that it doesn't rub a hole in one of the wires or something. I'll have to put my bolt back in the window track there. But let's see if this window works now. Like I said, this window did not work before. Let's see. Okay, so I went to test the front windows and they weren't working. The rear windows worked and the power lock still didn't work. So I had me chasing my tail for a second, but I figured it out. It's just a couple fuses. But we did have those wires broken on the connector. So what we did definitely needed to be done. But everything works now. Check this out. So we got passenger window. Got the passenger rear window. Okay, driver rear window. Driver's side window, we got it down right now. Let's see, it goes up. Alright, and then I just put the handle on here just for the locks. It's not going to lock this because the door's open, but if we roll the window down, or we can get to it. See, we hit the lock, and it locks all the doors. Here we unlock. Unlocks it. See? And converter either, but somebody's already patched this exhaust together. So we're just gonna take this complete exhaust and put it onto this one. We bought both of these yesterday, and another one that we haven't picked up yet. We bought 3 CRVs yesterday. And then plus all the other CRVs that are here. Oh, there's the old beater element. Oh, and there's another CRV. But yeah. So now I just got to get this fender back installed, and we'll be good to go. Hope this video was helpful to some of you guys. I know it's a pretty common issue for those driver door wires to break off the pins and the connectors. Like I said, if you would like to maintain your connector, Mitch Minton makes a really nice replacement pigtail that you can just splice onto your existing harness and be good to go. Or you can do it my way. It's the same amount of work technically to do it my way, because you still make the same amount of soldering connections or whatnot, but his has the weatherproof seal, you know, where, I mean, mine, the connections are weatherproof as well, you know, since I put the heat shrink on there, but mine doesn't have the actual connector. And if in the event that you need to pull the door off, you would have to cut the wires in half. Out of all the CRVs I've had over the years, I hadn't really found a legitimate reason to pull a door off outside of like an accident or something. And if you're already doing all that work, then doing a few more rounds of splicing is not going to be a huge ordeal in the realm of things. So I've done several this way and never had another issue out of them once, you know, I've swapped them over to doing like this. So it is what it is, you know, it's just the way I found to do it, and it's efficient and works for me. So hopefully it works for one of you guys too. Thanks for stopping by the Honda Resource. Make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe, and also check the description if you're interested in any of the products that I use today. I'll put a link down there so that you can purchase any of those if you'd like. Thanks. See you on the next one. Peace.